okay, which are in contact, and it opposes the motion, and it opposes the motion of the body. What is the cause of friction? What is the cause of friction? Cause of friction is surface roughness, or I can say irregularities. Okay, so this is the friction and its cause. This is the friction and this is the cause. Now we are going to see what kinds of friction do we have. We will see now what kind of friction do we have. Okay, so I'll try to explain with an example. Okay, and then I will write the friction, what, and then I'll write the types. Okay, so just see, when I draw a surface like this, suppose if I'm drawing a surface like this over here. Okay, if I draw a surface like this, so that means I'm drawing it, I'm considering the surface roughness also. Okay, I'm considering its surface roughness also. Now suppose here, this is a big block, very big block, so somewhere around 100 kg, somewhere around 100 kg, somewhere around 100 kg. Okay, if you apply a force of 1 Newton on it, if you apply a force of 1 Newton on it, do you think that this block will move? Do you think that this block is going to move? Yes. Do you think that this block is going to move if I apply a force in this direction of 1 Newton? No, it will not move. Okay, it will not move. Okay, because this is a very huge body with large block. Okay, I'll show the definition afterwards. Don't worry. Just see what I'm doing right now. Okay. So what is happening here? Because there is a force 1 Newton which you have applied, still this body is not moving. Still this body is not moving. What can I infer from this? What can I say from this? That this irregularity which was between the surface and the block, the irregularity which was there between the surface and the block, by 1 Newton force, due to 1 Newton force, this irregularity cannot be overcome. This block cannot come out of that irregularity. Okay, so 1 Newton force is actually not enough. It is not enough. Understood? It is not enough for this block to move. Why it is not enough? Because of this irregularity. This irregularity is much stronger, okay, than what force you are giving, than what energy you are putting in. Okay, so that's why this is not able to move. That's why this is not able to move. Now because you are applying a 1 Newton force, because you are applying a force of 1 Newton, so as per Newton's third law, what I can say, that this surface also applies, a force of 1 Newton. This surface also applies a force of 1 Newton. I can say it from the Newton's third law. Okay, you are applying a force of 1 Newton. Okay, the surface applies a force of 1 Newton. And why it is applying the force of 1 Newton? Because there is a contact between the two surfaces. Understood? Suppose you have increased this force, up to 10 Newton, and still you see that still the body is not able to move. Still the body is not able to move. This means what? Again, the 10 Newton force was not enough for this body, for this block, to overcome this irregularities. Are you understanding? Still this 10 Newton is not enough for this block, to overcome these irregularities. So that's why this has not moved. Again, because you have applied a 10 Newton of force, I can say that this block is being acted by a 10 Newton force in the opposite direction. That's why it is not moving. That's why it is not moving. Fine. Now, suppose you have applied 20 Newton, just you have applied 20 Newton, and you see that this has not moved. This is not moved. This body has not moved. Okay, still 20 Newton also the body is not moving. As you apply a force of, suppose 20.1, suppose a 20.1 Newton force, you see that this body is started to move. This body has started to move. Do you understand? This body has started to move on this force. This body has started to move on this force. 20.1. Till 20, it was not moving. Till 20, it was not moving. And from 20.1, it has started to move. So what can I say? That for 20 Newton, it was ready to move. And at 20.1, it has started to move. Okay. So at 20, because it was not moving, it was still at rest. It was still at rest. So the maximum friction that this object has been acted upon by this surface was 20 Newton, the maximum frictional force. Okay, the maximum frictional force till now, this body had been applied, this surface has applied on the body was what? 20 Newton. It was 20 Newton. Okay, now at 20 Newton, what would have happened? What would have happened? We'll try to visualize that. So suppose this was the irregularity on the surface, and this is the irregularity on the block. So when this irregularity was somewhere like this, okay, and now when this is moving like this, okay, at 20 Newton, what would have happened? These irregularities would have broken. Yes or no? Because this has to move, na? This body has to move on this surface. Correct? This body has to move on this surface like this. So if it has to move on this surface, so do you think that whatever thing is coming in contact, okay, whatever thing is coming into contact, they have to be like break, okay, they have to be broken by this object. So what happens? These top parts, I can say, okay, either they get break or either they get wear out. Either they get break or either they get wear out. And then what happens? This body can move over it. This body can move over it. But still there will be a friction. If you can visualize, still there will be a friction at some places, but it will be less as compared to the starting one. Still it will be less as compared to the starting one. Okay. But it will be present there. Okay. So this is all about the friction. Okay, basic understanding of the friction. So what we have understood till now, that initially when I had a irregularity like this, okay, when we had irregularity like this, so I required a amount of force, a minimum amount of force to overcome this irregularity. Okay, I required a minimum amount of force to overcome this irregularity. And so what is that minimum amount of force? That is 20. That is 20, not 20.1. Understand this. There's a difference between 20 and 20.1. Okay. So 20 was the minimum amount of force which was required to break these irregularities, or to wear out these irregularities. And when you have done that, when it is done, so if you increase the force a little bit, what will happen? The body will start to move. Understood? So I'll try to divide the complete situation in two different parts. Okay. So first part is the body is at rest. Okay. Or not like that. I'll try to do it like that. Till roughness or irregularities okay, are intact. And second, irregularities get wear out. Okay. So now in this condition, I need more amount of force in order to break the irregularities. Okay. And once it is weared out, So I will need a less amount of force to move the same body, and hence the friction will also be less, and hence the friction will also be less. Okay. So now you tell me, out of 1 and 2, in which case you will be having higher value of friction? Out of 1 and 2, in which case you will be having higher value of friction? One, higher value of friction. Condition 1. Okay. In condition 1, we will be having higher value of friction. Why? Because we need more force to break that. Na? And once it is weared out, once it is broken, okay, so I can move the object with the less amount of force, and so the frictional force will also be less, and hence the frictional force will also be less at that time. Okay. So if you have understood all this definition, okay, all this discussion, so now I'm going to divide this friction in two categories. Okay, I'm going to divide this friction in two categories. Okay. So first category will be when the irregularities are intact, okay, and the body is at rest. First, when irregularities are intact and the body is at rest. And second will be when the irregularities have been broken out or weared out, okay, and the body has started to move. So I will try to divide the friction into these two parts. Okay. So the first is static friction. The first one is static friction. Static friction. And the second one is not sliding friction, but it is called as dynamic friction, or you can say it as a kinematic friction. Dynamic friction. Okay, dynamic friction. Yes, kinetic friction, correct. Dynamic friction, okay, or kinetic friction. Kinetic friction. Okay. So these two are the friction values. Okay, two types of friction. So static friction will be when the body is at rest, okay, is still at rest, but you are applying the force. Okay. And dynamic friction will be one which is when the body is moving, okay. So these two are the frictions. Now let me tell you one thing, or if you can visualize here, okay, if you can visualize over here, that when you applied a force of 1 Newton, okay, just answer to the questions what I'm asking you. When I applied 1 Newton force, okay, we'll just do it here only. When I applied a force of 1 Newton, okay, how much was the friction force? How much was the friction force? Yes. How much was the friction force? Friction force, how much? Was it 0 or was it 1? 1 Newton. It was 1 Newton, na? Because the surface had applied the force in opposite direction. So that is only the friction force. The body was at rest or in motion. The body was in rest or in motion. The body was in rest or in motion. The body was in rest. Okay. When I applied the force of 20 Newton, when I applied the force of 20 Newton, the friction force would have become what? The friction force would have become what? When the force applied is 20 Newton, the friction force would have become what? 20 Newton. Very good. 20 Newton. Now the body would be moving or it would be at rest. The body would be moving or it would be at rest. Yes, it would be at rest. Okay, it would be at rest. And to make the things little more complicated, okay, or in a broader picture, what do we call this state as? On the verge of motion. It is not moving, but it is on the verge of motion. It is on the verge of motion, or it is just about to move. It is just about to move, what we say. Okay, it is just about to move, what we say, or what we can tell this, just about to move, just about to move. Okay, just about to move. Now, between 1 and 20, between 1 and 20, if I keep this applied force, if I keep this applied force as 2 Newton, 3 Newton, 4 Newton, 5 Newton, okay, so what will happen? Suppose I keep this force as 10 Newton or 15 Newton. Suppose I keep this force as 15 Newton. So what does this friction force becomes? Suppose in between this, suppose if between I keep the applied force as 15. So what is the frictional force now? 15 Newton. The body is still at rest. So you tell me, all these forces are static friction or are these forces kinetic friction? These forces are static friction or kinetic friction values? These forces are kinetic friction values or static friction values? These are static friction values. Good. These are static friction values. And if these are static friction values, so do you see that the static friction value is changing with the time, with the force? With the force applied, whatever force you are applying, is it changing? Is it changing up to a particular limit? Yes. Is it changing up to a particular limit? Yes or no? Is it changing up to a particular limit? This is static friction value. Yes or no? This static friction value is changing up to a particular limit. So that's why we say this static friction value is a self-adjusting friction value. This is also called as self-adjusting friction. Okay, self-adjusting friction. So static friction is also sometimes referred in the books as self-adjusting friction. Okay, why self-adjusting? Because from a minimum value to a maximum value it is changing. From a minimum value to a maximum value it is changing. Now suppose if I keep the force as 20.1. Now suppose if I keep the force as 20.1. Okay, so the friction value will be F, suppose, and I can say that this friction will be less than 20 or more than 20. Yes, this friction value must be greater than 20 or less than 20 or equal to 20. What can you tell from here? If now I apply a force of 20.1, this friction value must be less than 20, more than 20, equal to 20, or 20.1 or 20.1. It should be 20, it should be 20.1, it should be more than that, or it should be less than 20. Yes, it should be less than 20. It should be less than 20. Okay, and the body will start to move. Body moves now. Okay, body starts to move. Body starts to move. Now, why I'm saying less than 20, I had discussed here only now, that once the irregularities have been broken, to move this body, I required a force of 20 Newton. And when the irregularities got weird out, when the irregularities have got broken, okay, when this irregularities, see here, when this will get weird out, or when the irregularities will just break, then the force, opposing force, will be same or it will decrease now. Yes, the force will decrease now, the resisting force will decrease because the surface has now weared out. You can take an example of the what do you say, tire, okay, your cycle tire, bike tire, car tire. So initially you will be having so much of depressions, okay, there will be, it will be gutted, understood. So that's why what happens, that is to increase the static friction, that is to increase the friction, okay. Over the time when this gets weared out, okay, over the time when it gets weared out, so what happens, the friction becomes less and the tendency to slip is more. So that's why you can relate over here that as the irregularities get break or it gets weared out, so what happens, the friction value becomes less, okay, the friction value becomes less. So now what I can say, that kinetic friction is less than static friction, okay, kinetic friction is less than static friction. So this is a very, very important point that you have to understand, okay, this is a very, very important point that you have to understand, that kinetic friction is less than static friction, kinetic friction is less than static friction, okay. Now you just see here, at all these friction values, at all these friction values over here, at all these friction values from 1 to 19 point something, up to all these values, okay, the body was at rest and the irregularities have not broken, okay. At 20 what is happening, at 20 what is happening, that the maximum value that the surface can resist, okay. See, any body will have a particular amount of capability to resist something, na, correct. Suppose if I have a pen in my hand, okay, and if I want to break it, so if I suppose that pen can be broken at 20 Newton of force, okay, suppose I'm giving you an example, if that pen can be broken at 20 Newton of force, and if you apply a 19 Newton of force, so it will not break. So from 1 to 20, less than 20, if you apply the force, that will not break. At 20 what will happen, it is breaking, okay. So that 20 Newton of force is a particular force on which the irregularities are breaking. The 20 Newton of force is that force at which the irregularities are getting weared out. So this 20 Newton of force, this 20 Newton of force is important over here. Why? Because the body is on the verge of motion or it is just about to move, okay. So this condition or this friction value is only called as limiting friction. This friction value is only called as limiting friction value, okay. This friction value is only called as limiting friction value. This is only called as limiting friction, okay. So it is a static friction only. Limiting friction is not any other friction, it is not any other category, okay. Just the maximum static friction, the maximum value of static friction is only limiting friction. The maximum value of static friction will be called as the static friction. That's it. It is not any other kind of friction. It is not the third category. We are only having the two categories, okay, which is the static friction and kinetic friction. So what is limiting friction then? What is limiting friction then? Limiting friction. So limiting friction is nothing but the maximum value of static friction we call as a limiting friction, okay. So I can say maximum value of static friction is limiting friction, okay. Now what will be the condition of the body here? What will be the condition of the body of the block over here? What is the condition of the block at 20 Newton? Yes, at 20 Newton, what is the condition of the block? Can you see it? What is the condition of the block over here? It is on the verge of motion. It is on the verge of motion, or it is just about to move. It is on the verge of motion, or it is just about to move. Can you see that? So under limiting condition, what I can say, that it is just on the verge of motion. The body is just about to move. It is just about to move, or on the verge of motion. On the verge of motion. Okay, at limiting friction case, and that's the maximum value of friction. But the body will be at rest only. The body will be at rest only under this condition. Okay, the body will not move. The body is at rest only. So that you should understand that the body will be at rest. Okay, it is not going to move at this. It is on the verge of motion. So when I say on the verge of motion, I'm trying to say that it is just about to move. Even a small force, if you increase the force by a small amount also, if you increase the force by a small amount also, then the body will now move. Then the body will move now. Okay, suppose at 20 Newton, okay, it is not the stick or the pen. I'm having a pen in my hand, and at 19.99999 it is not moving. It is not getting break. Okay, it is not breaking. The pen is not breaking. Just if I make it a little more, just if I make it a little more, so it will break. Okay, because already I have reached its, what can you say, endurance limit. I have reached its endurance limit. So even a small increase in the force will break the pin. So that's in the same way, even a small amount of force in the forward direction will break the irregularity, will completely break the irregularity, and the body will continue to move now. Okay, so that's what we call as verge of motion, or the body is just about to move. The body is just about to move. Okay, so that is all about the static friction, kinetic friction, and limiting friction within the static friction. Okay, so don't think that limiting friction is a third kind of friction. Okay, limiting friction is the part of static friction only. Okay, so the maximum value of static friction is limiting friction only. So you don't have to make a third category for limiting friction. The force which occurs on the verge of motion, what are you trying to ask, Keshav? No. The force which enables a body to just start moving is called friction, limiting friction. No. The maximum value of resisting force. The maximum value of resisting force. Okay, the maximum value of resisting force will be limiting friction, dear. So if anybody is having any doubt, you can ask now. If anybody is having any doubt, you can ask now. If anybody is having any doubt, you can ask now. If we move, yes, it will move. It will move. A slight increase in the force will move the body. At 20, it will not move. A slight increase also, it will, a slight increase in the force also will cause the body to move. Okay, a slight increase will move, make the body to move. If 20 is the static maximum static friction, if 20 Newton is the limiting friction value, so a slight increase in the force, a slight increase in the force will move the body. Okay, so now we are going to see what is kinetic friction now. Okay, kinetic friction. So static friction, I hope everybody has understood. Static friction and limiting friction, I hope everybody has understood. See, right now if you understand this static friction and kinetic friction, okay, so static friction and kinetic friction problems you will have in class 11th, and at least one problem definitely comes. Okay, one problem definitely you will have, either if you write NEET or you write JEE in after class 12. So if you clear the topic right now, if you clear the topics right now, the difference between limiting friction, kinetic friction, and static friction, it will be very, very beneficial for you. Sliding and rolling friction are the part of kinetic friction only, dear. Okay, kinetic friction, okay, is a main part. Rolling and sliding are its sub part. Like limiting friction was a part of, or a case. Limiting friction is a case under the static friction. So same way, sliding and rolling friction is also the part of kinetic only. They are not the separate kind of friction which we have to study. Okay, within kinetic only these two have to be taught. Okay, so let us now see the kinetic friction. Let us now see the kinetic friction. Okay, now see here. What is kinetic friction? We'll again try to see with the irregularities. So suppose this was the irregularity that we had. Okay. Now, just see here. Suppose this is my block. Okay, this is my block, and this block has to move in this direction. Can you visualize it? This block has to move in this direction. Okay. Now, this block is initially kept like this. Suppose this block is initially kept like this. Okay, and now this block has to move in this direction. Now, when it moves in this direction, so due to static friction, okay, because I have overcome that static friction over this point, over this locality, okay, over this region, I have overcome that friction. So now, what are the possibilities you can have? What are the possibilities you can have? Okay, I'll just ask you a few questions in this. Do you think that only the wearing process will happen with this surface, or some wearing will happen with the object also? Yes. First case, wearing happens only on the surface. Second case, wearing happens on the object also. Yes. Wearing happens only on the surface, or wearing happens on both the surfaces. First case, wearing happens only on the surface. Second case, wearing happens on both the surfaces. Both the surfaces. It is very obvious. It is very obvious that the wear process will happen on both the surfaces. Okay, the wearing process or the breaking of the irregularities will happen on both the surfaces. Now, when the irregularities have been broken, and that static friction value have been overcome. So now what is happening here, that this is the block which will move like this now. Now, initially when there was peak over here, so that time it was having a higher friction value. Now when it is moving here, now when it will move here, so interlocking is there or not? There is no interlocking here. Initially what was there? Just see. Is there an interlocking? Just see. Is there an interlocking? Yes or no? Here, do we have a interlocking? Yes, we have interlocking here. And that's why the force is more. Due to interlocking, the force is more. Now, when this breaks out, when the surface wears out, so what happens? This interlocking is now not present over there, or less interlockings are present. And if less interlockings are present, So the force required to move the body now, the force required, see here, less amount of force will be required to move. So the opposing force will be same as initial or it will be less. The opposing force will be less or it will be same as initial. The resisting force, because of the wearing out, because of no interlocking now or less interlocking, will there be a less force of friction or will there be same amount of friction? Yes. What do you say? Less force. Okay. There will be a less force now. So we have seen limiting friction. We have understood the static friction. Now we are going to see the kinetic friction. Okay. Kinetic friction. So in kinetic friction, what I can say that due to less interlocking now, okay, due to reduced, better we write reduced, okay, because the interlocking has reduced, due to reduced interlocking. And now what is the reason for reduced interlocking? Because of the broken irregularities, because of some wearing out of the surfaces, the interlocking has reduced. So due to reduced interlocking, okay, the opposing force decreases. Okay, the opposing force decreases. This implies static friction is greater than kinetic friction. Okay, that's why the static friction is greater than the kinetic friction. I hope you have understood this point. I hope all of you have understood this point. Yes. Okay, so you take the slides now. Meanwhile, if you anybody is having any doubt, you can ask that doubt. You take the screenshots now. If anybody is having any doubt, you can ask. See, sliding friction and rolling friction, they are not the another kind of friction. Okay, they are the part of kinetic friction only. Yes, anybody is having any doubt? See, whatever I am writing on the screen, okay, and you are taking the screenshot, it is not for your notes. Okay, don't convert this into PDF and think that this is your notes. No, you should write everything again, okay, in your own words. Then only it will be better for you to understand. I don't know how many of you have been doing this regularly, but every day, okay, what you have to do, you should see this topic and you have to go through the notes, okay, and then try to write everything, okay, in your own language. Don't convert this screenshot into PDF and keep it as your notes. If anybody is doing that, so it is not good for you. So don't do that. You try to write everything in your own words. And if someone is taking the notes while I'm teaching, Okay, so if someone is writing, that is also not good. So don't write anything on your notes, okay, while I'm teaching. That is also not good. You cannot do two things simultaneously. You cannot write the things and you cannot understand everything or every point. Definitely at some point you will miss. Either this class or in the next class, you'll definitely miss some point. So don't divert your mind. Don't write with me, just see what I'm writing. If I ask any question, if I ask you to note down, or if I ask you to solve anything, then only you do. Otherwise you just see, okay, watch the video, okay, like that. And when the class gets over, that day itself try to see everything again and try to write it again, okay, in your own words. Don't write with me, don't write with me when I'm teaching, okay. That is also not what I recommend, because your attention will be diverted in writing also and in understanding also. So simultaneously two things you cannot do. Definitely you will miss some or the other points at some point, okay. So if anybody is having any doubt, you can ask now. Okay, so with this I'll end this session, okay. Thank you. Keshav, I have showed all the slides na. Which slide you want? Keshav, which slide you want? First slide. First slide is this only. First slide is this. We started from friction only today. Where we started from this friction only. So this is the first slide. Okay.